Hey guys, it's Mahel here, and today I'm going to give you my brutally honest review of the University of Nottingham. I'm Mahel Khan. I'm a business school graduate from the University of Nottingham. I graduated in BSc Hons Management with a 2-1, and I just finished actually in August of 2021. Now, before we get into the video, if you're new here or if you haven't already, then make sure to click the subscribe button and click the bell to turn all post notifications on so that you don't miss out on a single video as soon as it goes live. Also, if you want access to exclusive perks such as being able to message me directly on Instagram to ask a burning question regarding the University of Nottingham, your personal statement, UCAS advice or anything else, or the opportunity to play with me on platforms such as PC, PS4 and PS5, then make sure you become a channel member today. You can do so by clicking the join button below this video, and it only costs $4.99 a month. Now without further ado, we're going to get straight into the video, and today's video is going to be separated into different segments, and they are as follows: academic life, social life and nightlife, gym, sports and societies, housing and accommodation, Nottingham as a city, university support, and last but not least, my overall thoughts. We're going to kick things off by talking about the academic life at the University of Nottingham. The University of Nottingham is a Russell Group university, and it's the 4th most targeted university by top employers in the UK, according to the Times High Flyers report for 2020 to 2021. The university has 3 main campuses: University Park Campus, Jubilee Campus, and Sutton Bonington Campus. Most courses will be on University Park Campus, however some courses such as computer science and business, they will be on Jubilee Campus, and some courses relating to veterinary science, for example, will be on Sutton Bonington Campus. Although I myself didn't study on the main University Park Campus, I did sometimes visit that campus, as sometimes I like to use the David Ross Sports Village over there instead of the Jubilee Sports Centre. However, each of the campuses do have their own gym, which I'm going to get into later when I talk about sports societies and whatnot. Despite the business school being located on Jubilee Campus, which isn't the primary campus, the teaching facilities were actually quite good, especially during first year where I had 100% in-person teaching and COVID wasn't a thing. For example, I would have lectures in a room called B52 in Business School South. So for the business school, there were 2 schools. They were Business School South and Business School North. And most of my lectures took place in Business School South. And in B52, it was a massive lecture hall with over 200 people usually, and everything was good. There was a massive projector screen where you could look at the PowerPoints, and also audio was good when the lecturer spoke, as they did have a microphone in front of them. So when it came to in-person teaching, I had no complaints regarding this, as all the facilities that you could ask for from a lecturer were there. However, there were a few problems where lecturers were hard to understand, whether it may be because of their really strong accent, or simply because they spoke too slowly or sometimes too quickly. In most situations, this wasn't a problem because most lectures were recorded. However, for some modules, lectures weren't recorded at all, and at the University of Nottingham, it's the discretion of the lecturer to record their lectures, and some flat out refuse, which I feel was a bit of a detriment to my studies. As for example, let's say you're close to exam season or coursework season, and you want to go back on something that you somewhat remember being said in a lecture, you actually can't unless you have it written down in your notes, because there is no recording for that module. You might also be wondering how teaching was when it was online, and you know what? I actually had no complaints regarding this either. Delivery was quite good on Teams, and in fact, I would say that the content that was delivered on Teams and on Moodle during COVID times was better than it was in person. The reason for this is because there was extra materials, I feel, online than there were when it was in person and the rest was on Moodle. So with lecture engagements, you actually had the opportunity to talk to your lecturer and ask them questions about what they're talking about and get a better understanding, versus in a lecture, you're basically just sitting there listening and taking notes down, and if you wanted to ask any questions, you'd have to email them afterwards or wait until the lecture has finished before asking those questions. But online lectures, you're able to ask questions as you go along for the most part, and also they facilitated group work where you would be able to go into a breakout room and speak to other people for about 3 minutes about a certain topic and then feed it back to everyone else, making everyone learn from different perspectives from other students. One of the complaints that I can think of that relates to academic life was that with the resources available, they weren't always there. What I mean by this is, for example, I had a final year module where there was about 230 people in that module. However, it only had 24 textbooks available for the whole cohort, and as a result, the textbooks were booked out for the whole year, meaning that I had to purchase some textbooks or access it through other means. And so this is a big problem, because if you're paying £9,250 a year for your tuition, you would expect textbooks and basic resources to be provided at the very least, but in some situations they weren't, and not even by a small amount of numbers. That's almost 1/10 of what was required. Next up, we're going to be talking about the social life and nightlife at the University of Nottingham, and to be honest, this is actually pretty good. Nottingham is a big city. It does have two big universities in the University of Nottingham and Nottingham Trent University, and so there are over 60,000 students in the city, and that opens up a great potential for social life. Not only would it be down to, for example, going out for a club or a bar, but in terms of things like arcades, food, sightseeing, Nottingham had it all. For example, a fun fact that you probably didn't know is that Wayne Manor in Batman is actually Willerton Hall in Nottingham, and so this was a popular attraction with the University of Nottingham students. If sightseeing isn't your thing, however, there are many other things to do in Nottingham, such as visiting arcades, cinemas, bars, restaurants, or even going to a club. In terms of the main clubs available in Nottingham, you have Ink, Rock City, Pom Pom, Ocean, Stealth, and a few others. In fact, the options for going out in Nottingham are endless, if I'm honest, as you can literally pick a different club to go to every single night that clubs are open. So Monday to Saturday, for example, you could go to a different club every night and still have options available they didn't pick from. So in terms of the nightlife at the University of Nottingham, or even if you're a Nottingham Trent University student, then they are great. Whilst the University of Nottingham does not have its own club, it does have its own bar called Mooch. To be honest, Mooch is a bit crap. I wouldn't recommend it. The atmosphere is kind of non-existent. However, if you go over to Nottingham Trent University, they do have their own club, and so on a Saturday, University of Nottingham students are able to visit their club, and they run a night called Climax, which I would personally say is the best Saturday night out in Nottingham. Next, I'm going to talk about the gym, sports and societies at the University of Nottingham. Now, the gym is actually pretty good. In fact, David Ross Sports Village recently had a £40 million renovation, and it is the best university gym I have ever seen. Not only does it have a gym, but there's also a massive swimming pool, multiple courts, and this is why I made the effort sometimes to, instead of going to Jubilee Sports Centre where there is another gym, going all the way to University Park campus to use David Ross Sports Village. The only problem is that it was very busy at times, sometimes even impossible to use it, and it was really frustrating because you would have some students just sitting on a machine on their phone, not even using the machine properly, and you're just waiting there in front of them. They have no consideration for you, and you're just thinking to yourself, please either get off or hurry up and finish. So that was one problem. However, also for the press, which was £209 for the year if you did early bird, or £229 later on in the year, you could not complain. That is very affordable in my opinion, and although it is slightly more than University of Manchester, I've seen at the University of Manchester for a similar amount of time, it's about £180, it's still a very good price, as not only does it grant you access to all 3 campus gyms. So yes, one gym membership means that you can go to University Park campus gym, the Jubilee Sports Centre gym, or the Sutton Bonington Sports Centre gym, but also it grants you access to the sports available at the university. So if you wanted to participate in casual sports or even competitive sports, whilst it can be seen as a negative that you need to have a gym membership or sports membership rather, at least it gives you options to many sports available. And I myself casually played volleyball, and this was very fun. I met some great people as well along the way, and I would honestly encourage, if you're going to be studying at the University of Nottingham, that you sign up to UON Engage and play a sport casually. As if you're struggling to make friends, or if you want something to do with your free time, because in first year, for example, you do get quite a lot of free time, then playing a sport casually is a great way to pass that time by and meet new people. In terms of societies, I would say that they are hit and miss. Some societies do absolutely nothing. You will pay a membership fee to join them. So let's say, for example, most societies are about between £2 to £5. Whilst some were great and actually did things for their members, others did absolutely nothing at all. So some societies are out there to just grab your money and also have their have it as a way to be like on their own CVs. Oh yes, I was a treasurer for this society, I did this, that, when in reality they did nothing for their members and you just wasted your money. So my advice would be, make sure you talk to other members of that society before you join and ask them if in previous years there has been anything done to actually make the society sociable and also provide any benefits. We're now going to talk about housing and accommodation at the University of Nottingham. So if you're going into first year, I would say that the best halls are self-catered halls. Do not go for the university halls. They are a rip-off in my opinion. A lot of people complain about the food being bad, and honestly, you're better off in my opinion going for self-catered halls, whether that be university associated ones like St. Peter's Court, Raleigh Park or Broadgate Park, or private ones, and then either cooking for yourself or simply ordering food in. I believe you're going to have a better experience going self-catered than you are catered. Catered halls are owned by the university and they are on campus, so you will find catered halls on all 3 campuses. You won't find any self-catered halls for undergraduate students on the campuses. However, the self-catered halls are quite close. Broadgate Park is probably about a 5-minute walk from University Park campus. St. Peter's Court is probably about a 10-minute walk from Jubilee Campus. Raleigh Park is probably about a 7-minute walk from Jubilee Campus. There are also shuttle buses available from the university that can get you from campus to campus. So you do not need to pay for this. It is free. It's university operated. That is one thing I actually loved about the University of Nottingham, the free shuttle buses on offer, as it meant that I didn't have to buy a bus pass. I didn't have to pay something like £280 from NCTX to get a bus pass, as instead I was able to just use the university buses to go from one campus to another. If you're wondering what the best halls are, I would probably say it's St. Peter's Court if you're a first year, and after that, if you don't want to live in a house in second year onwards, then I would say that it's Raleigh Park. Both, like I said, are close to Jubilee Campus. However, they are also very accessible. They have bus stops nearby, not only for the university to go from uni to uni campus, but also to go into the city centre, and they have a little retail park. So you've got Aldi nearby, you've got Lidl nearby, you've got Domino's, you've got Walk and Go, and so much more. And honestly, you are probably going to have a better time in self-catered halls such as St. Peter's Court and Raleigh Park than you are in, for example, Derby Hall. Most people do decide to live in a house after first year. They will live in a student area called Lenton. This is the primary student area. However, there are also other student areas such as Beeston and Dunkirk. So Lenton is like, how can I describe it? It's the primary student area that is also quite dodgy and run down. There are many people who have reported weird people either following them, looking at them, doing questionable things which I can't exactly mimic, but you get the idea, jumping through people's houses and so much more. Not only that, although you will find some good landlords in Lenton for houses, some of them, from what I've heard, are outright awful. The reason I say they're outright awful is because some landlords, for example, will blame damage that you haven't even caused to your house on you at the end and take massive deductions from your deposit. There might be problems that happen throughout the year. For example, a fridge breaks and you report it and it's not fixed in time, and then eventually it's just not fixed at all, and then at the end they'll charge you for that in your deposit, say there's a broken fridge and that you caused it even though you tried reporting it throughout the year. And so this is actually one of the reasons why I personally decided to move to Raleigh Park for second and third year, as one, it was cheaper in most cases than houses, and two, whilst during the pandemic, a lot of landlords just outright said no to a rent deduction even though students weren't living there. With Raleigh Park, I actually got discounted for the COVID period. So in second year, I paid something like £4,000, and in third year, I paid something like £4,200. Whereas people in houses didn't get any discount, so they could have been paying upwards of £5,000 for a house they weren't living in at all. I'm now going to talk about Nottingham as a city. As I said previously, Nottingham is home to over 60,000 students across both the University of Nottingham and Nottingham Trent University. whilst the University of Nottingham is located outside of city centre, Nottingham Trent University is located directly in the city centre. And so usually, for example, if you're out on a Wednesday in the evening and you're walking along Shakespeare Street or anywhere in the city centre, you may see Nottingham Trent students dressed really funnily for a night out called Ocean Wednesdays. And honestly, the city is just a great vibe because of the amount of students that it has. However, some of the locals aren't really welcoming towards students, and you can quickly find out about this if you go over onto Nottinghamshire Live. It posts provoking stories that makes the locals, some of them at least, hate students. They can't, in my opinion, stop posting about student accommodation because I feel they know this will provoke a reaction from some of the locals, because when you see a post about student accommodation being built in Nottingham, you'll see some of the locals saying, why can't they build housing for homeless people? We don't need more students here. And it's just a generally unwelcoming vibe. However, if you just as a student stick alongside with your community of students, whether that be from the University of Nottingham or Nottingham Trent University, you should get along just fine. And that being said, there are many things to do in Nottingham. Like I said before, there are restaurants that you can go to. There are even donut shops there's one called Donuts, for example. So literally, instead of donuts, it's donuts. It's quite an imaginative name, but it's also pretty good. My brother loves that place. He said that it's the best donut place that he's ever been to in this country, let alone just in Nottingham. There's famous bars such as the Magic Garden or even Coco Tang. As I said previously, there are many clubs to choose from as well. There's arcades, cinemas, and so you have many options in this city, and a lot of it is very cheap as well. With Nottingham being in the East Midlands, away from the south of England, a lot of the things that you can do in Nottingham are affordable. For example, an Uber to go from Jubilee Campus at the University of Nottingham to the city centre usually only costs about £5. So if you're living at one of the self-catered accommodation sites such as Raleigh Park or St Peter's Court, it literally only costs £5 to go to the city centre and £5 back. Imagine you're sharing a flat with 5 other people. Nights out are going to be cheap, or even just going into the city centre to go and explore. It's going to be very cheap via Ubers if you didn't want to catch the bus. And even then, I believe you can get a 24-hour bus pass for about £3.40 or pay around £280 for a bus pass for the whole year. So affordability in Nottingham is great, as well as the options available. Last but not least, I'm going to be talking about university support from the University of Nottingham. And I've been saving this till last because this is going to be a bit of a rant. The University of Nottingham needs to do better when it comes to university support. Student services is absolutely diabolical as well, and it's just absolute shambles. If you ever find yourself in a position where you need support on something, for example, I don't know, you need help enrolling in a module because something's gone wrong, or you need to check a query that actually requires student services help, all I'm going to say is good luck, because some of the student service advisors, in my opinion, just absolutely have no idea what they're doing, and others will take a long time to get back to you because the system, the way in which student services was working when I was at the university over the last 3 years, it's just very unorganized. And so sometimes it's not even the fault of student services, it's the fact that they're waiting on someone else to get back with an answer, who then has to wait for someone else to get back with an answer, and there's a long chain to get some information from, and this can sometimes leave you waiting ages for your query to be resolved. Sometimes your query doesn't even get resolved at all, and honestly, good luck finding an answer by the phone, as well as most cases they'll just ask you to email them as well, and when you do email, it takes forever. So not only was student services a problem at this level for me, when it came to exam season or coursework season, sometimes I was waiting weeks for a response. I would have to send chaser emails even to get a response. So I sent an email a few weeks ago, still haven't heard anything. Can you please let me know what's going on? They'll say, sorry Mahel, for the wait, we're still waiting to find out an answer for you. Then another few weeks go by and it keeps repeating on and on and on. And at that point, it's just like, this really is not good enough. Honestly, when it comes to university support, just pray you have nothing that you need fixing or resolving, or any queries that need to go to the university, because it is a shambolic system. And when it comes to, for example, my degree certificate, which I was supposed to receive, I believe, from a couple of weeks ago now, it's still not here. I graduated over a month ago. I graduated on the 4th of August, over a month ago, and my degree certificate, the physical one, and transcript is still not here. The online degree certificate was delayed by a week or so, and now somehow the physical certificate has also been delayed. And so when it comes to things being delivered by the university on a central level, prepare to be disappointed. So the business school itself, everything was good. People within the business school were supportive. I have no complaints about the business school. But when it comes to central services, such as student services, or even going to the students' union for help, good luck is all I'm going to say. And that is basically a mini rant, and I had to let this out, and I've let it out in the past, but I've just had to let it out because I don't want students to join the university without knowing some of the hardships that I went through when it came to central services such as student services. I'm now going to wrap up the video, as I believe it has gone on for long enough now and I've covered enough bases with the University of Nottingham. What do I think about the university? I think it is a great place to study at in terms of student experience when it comes to making friends, going out, the city itself, and also the quality of teaching on your course, depending on what course you're at. So at the business school, at least, teaching was quite good, and so was the quality. However, like I said previously, student services, awful, 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 and the students' union, largely useless. So it's a mix between good and bad. So that's why when I did my university tier video ranking different Russell Group universities, I had to put it at decent, because yes, student services is bad and so are the students' union, but at the same time it is still a respected university. It has slid down in the world rankings quite a bit, especially in the QS rankings, going to 102nd in the world now according to QS 2022, so meaning that it's no longer a top 100 world university according to QS, which is it makes me sigh, but nevertheless, although that is a thing, it is still also targeted by top employers according to the High Flyers report especially. And I believe in about 2018 or 2019 JP Morgan put it at one of the top 25 universities that are targeted by them. But that is going to be it for the video, guys and girls. I hope you have enjoyed it, and that has been my brutally honest review of the University of Nottingham based on my own experience as a now 2-1 BSc Hons Management graduate from Nottingham University Business School. If you did enjoy the video, then make sure to leave a like, comment below and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below if there's anything else you'd like to me to cover regarding university, or if there's any questions you have regarding the university, as I'd be more than happy to answer them. Make sure to follow me on my social media, that's at Mahel Khan on Instagram, Snapchat and TikTok, at MahelX on Twitter, and official Mahel Khan on Facebook. Let me know also, as well, what other videos you'd like to see from me in the comments below. I am going to be starting at the University of Manchester in a couple of weeks, and I'm also going to be moving there next week. So there will be University of Manchester vlogs coming. So anything relating to University of Manchester that you'd like to see from me as well, do let me know in the comments. I've been Mahel, giving you my brutally honest review of the University of Nottingham based on my experiences as a now graduate from there, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.